Royal Australian Army Medical Corps has established for itself during peace and war a fine reputation of service, which has resulted in the achievement by the Corps of very high standards of health in the Australian Regular Army. It's the responsibility of the Medical Corps to consider every aspect of Army health. The operating theatre of an Army General Hospital is perhaps the most dramatic aspect of Army medicine, but it's only one phase of a wide range of important medical activities. The Royal Australian Army Medical Corps School, located at Healesville, Victoria, has been in no small measure responsible for the high standards achieved by the Corps. Here are trained the men and women who staff the Army's hospitals and other medical establishments. Here also are trained the men who become part of the Army's crack mobile brigade, ready to move anywhere at a moment's notice, trained fully for their task of keeping the health and fitness of Australia's striking force at its very peak. A lecture is given by an Army tutor sister during the study of the anatomy and physiology of the human body. The subject, the circulatory system. Models and full-scale diagrams are used to teach the students the names and positions of arteries, veins and capillaries, revealing to the students how the blood flows through the body. This training is important to both male and female first aiders, if they're to know how to arrest hemorrhage quickly and give skilled first aid treatment. Male nursing orderlies and female nursing aides undergo a specialist course to qualify them to handle a large number of casualties which would result from atomic bomb explosions. This advanced course includes instruction in the taking of patients' blood pressure, temperature, pulse and respiration, procedures which, when thoroughly learned, will greatly assist the medical officer. The medical services are now training Army hygiene inspectors, who will qualify for the Royal Society of Health certificate after completing their comprehensive 2-year course. These inspectors will ensure that high standards of health will be maintained throughout the Army. A Medical Corps officer, with the aid of a scale model, describes the layout of a 600-bed Army General Hospital. Male personnel of the RAAMC and female personnel of the Royal Australian Army Nursing Corps are posted to hospitals of this type. In the school's hygiene demonstration area, examples of improvisation under field conditions have been set up. Here, the students can see for themselves the remarkable degree to which improvisation can be carried out using the everyday materials discarded by an army in the field. Such skilled improvisation results in greater maneuverability of the field force because of the reduction of the equipment it must carry. As a result of this training, health and physical fitness can be maintained by men in the field with the burden of essential equipment considerably reduced. Discarded oil and petrol cans provide most useful raw materials for the improviser, who can maintain himself comfortably with a minimum of equipment. Careful consideration of the methods of disposal of human waste will reduce the incidence of cross-infection and fly-borne sicknesses which follow in the wake of insanitary camping arrangements. The students are shown how to use for shelter the materials they'll find around them in the field. A requirement for everyone passing through the school is the ability to apply artificial respiration to the victims of drowning and electric shocks. The Holger-Nielsen method of artificial respiration is taught by the Army. A sound knowledge of map reading is an essential part of Medical Corps personnel training. Students use the compass to plot bearings on a map. Women of the Royal Australian Army Nursing Corps are trained at the school. Nurses must understand the properties of foods and how they are absorbed into the body by the digestive processes. This course results in an appreciation of the importance of correct diets and food requirements for various types of patients in hospitals. All male nursing orderlies and female nursing aides must be able to recognize the full range of surgical instruments and understand their use. As part of their course in first aid, the students become proficient in the application of roller and triangular bandages, knowledge important to them when they take up their appointments in camp hospitals and other Army medical establishments. A number of panniers containing medical equipment for every type of emergency are used in the field by the Medical Corps. Medical orderlies are trained to pack and maintain these panniers. With these panniers, Army medical personnel can cope with practically every situation likely to be encountered in the field under wartime conditions. In the field, equipment may not always be available when it's required, and personnel must have the skills to meet the circumstances. Improvised stretchers and splints are constructed from surrounding bush timber. As well as being trained in first aid, the students must know correct drills for evacuation of casualties on stretchers. When a fighting soldier is wounded, he relies on the front-line first aider for emergency treatment and the most rapid means of evacuation to an established medical unit. The front-line medical man is trained in many skills which may include the erection of improvised cableways across ravines. Rafts may be improvised using such available materials as vehicle covers and stretchers. The care of casualties and their transport from the forward areas so that they can be treated as soon as possible is the responsibility of these resourceful medical men. An efficient medical force has a powerful influence on the morale of the fighting forces. Medical standards have always been high in the Australian Army, and this is a result of its most efficient training programs, which produce medical personnel so well trained that their efficiency inspires the confidence of the men they are serving. From time to time, the Royal Australian Army Medical Corps has opportunities for its members in the Australian Regular Army and its Citizen Military Forces component to carry out the lessons which have been learned in realistic field exercises. Wartime field conditions are simulated, and Army health officers carry out their work of preserving the health of the troops. This work includes the testing of available water supplies and their purification to avoid infections from this source. A close watch is kept on the soldier's environment by the Medical Corps men who endeavor to protect him from all types of infection. These are intestinal roundworms, one of the many types of parasites which can reduce the health of soldiers in the field. Worm infestations are a particular hazard in tropical climates. Army Medical Corps men are also on the alert and ready wherever our forces are located to combat disease-carrying insects. The medical problems facing the Royal Australian Army Medical Corps as a result of nuclear fission have been responsible for special training in the medical aspects of nuclear warfare. Male and female medical personnel are instructed in the effects of atomic bomb explosions, and coupled with their normal medical training, they are now instructed in methods of handling large numbers of atomic bomb casualties. Special kits have been developed by the RAAMC to enable all types of injuries, including nuclear burns, to be vividly simulated. Plastic molds carrying various types of burns can be fitted for the purposes of demonstration, and grease paint and dyes assist to create the illusion. Crushed toes, a common accident, can be simulated with startling reality. a typical nuclear burn is simulated. At this Director General of Medical Services exercise, exhibits have been arranged to demonstrate the methods which have been adopted for the handling of atomic bomb casualties. In this case, casualties resulting from the surface blast of a nuclear bomb. Representatives of all arms are here as spectators at this realistic exercise. All nuclear casualties from a contaminated area must be decontaminated prior to admission to a medical center. And it's the responsibility of the Medical Corps to carry out this task. All casualties are monitored using the Geiger counter to determine the extent to which they may be radioactive. Walking patients are washed down to remove radioactive dust which may be present. The state of the casualty is indicated by colored tabs. Radioactive clothing and equipment is removed and placed in containers for disposal. Our forces, who may be engaged in actual warfare, can feel confident that they are being supported by medical teams which have been trained to a high degree of skill and efficiency. No opportunity is lost by the RAAMC to participate to the fullest possible extent in all the Army's peacetime field exercises. During these exercises, the men of the Corps have the opportunity to keep their own skills at a constant peak of efficiency. These exercises give Australian regular Army doctors and doctors attached to the CMF practical experience in field conditions they might encounter during actual warfare. All the plans for emergency treatment of casualties and their early evacuation to the nearest Army General Hospital are carried out on these exercises. With the arrival of a casualty at an Army hospital, a skilled medical team swings into action, using all the modern medical aids. A selected number of university undergraduates during the 4th, 5th or final years of their medical course have been appointed on short service commissions to the Australian Regular Army, and after residency have been posted as medical officers to units of the field force and military hospitals. The wards of the Army's hospitals are staffed with personnel who have had training which is unequalled. The Australian Army has reason to be proud of the high standard of its medical corps.